And we're live.
So Ben, you're an extreme sportsman. I saw a video that Woody linked today because I'm not an extreme sportsman. I often look at those people like you're asking for it. But he was like, someone surfing in Missouri, and I'm from St. Louis. So I'm like, where the fuck is he surfing? And that you were just on either the Mississippi or the Missouri River in a very dangerous looking area where you just got at one point just sucked right in.
Yeah, I was on the Missouri River. Yeah, in a situation that was way out of my league, way out of my comfort zone. But Missouri is really tough to find surf. Obviously, I found a standing wave in the river, but I had seen kayakers doing it online, so I figured it was possible. But I went there. Turned out my board was way too long to fit in the wave. Ended up flipping me out of the back like the one you saw, and I think I almost drowned, but I got flipped under, put in the whitewash, and like that was extreme.
So are you going to go back and try it again with a smaller board?
The problem lies. Well, my goal right now, this past year, and I'm going to be finishing up in 2018. I'm going to be surfing in every state, all 50 states in the U.S., and it's something that's never been done, and that means I have to go back and stand up on a wave in Missouri. So
have you checked to make sure there is surfing in every state?
When I started the mission, I didn't, but
this guy's asking about like surfing in North Dakota.
North Dakota's doable. I haven't done it yet, but it looks like there's potential.
All right. So you probably don't know me, but I surfed for a long time. I grew up on the Jersey Shore, Ocean City, and I've seen you surf. You are a very good surfer. What is so hard about that Missouri wave? You surf 4 times bigger, 10 times bigger. Like
it's the sewage.
Well, side note: there are mutant fish jumping through the wave. You can see. I even slow-mo it in the vlog, and there's logs floating down the river that if you're out there, you would get smoked. And tons of trash. And tons of mosquitoes. But the thing about that river is it's super wide. Most river waves are pinched in. And so it's letting tons of water come through the area where the wave is. And river waves are measured at something called CFS. It's like cubic feet per second. And that's like the amount of cubic feet that's moving through that spot in 1 second. And that day it was flowing 100,000 CFS. And the biggest I've ever done before that was 22,000. So it was like 5 times gnarlier than anything I've ever seen. And it's that thing's like, I don't know if it's a low-lying dam, but it's this cement thing. And the water in the front of the wave is only about 3 inches deep. And then it hits the bottom and just shoots it up like that. And it's traveling. I don't know how you could measure the speed, but it's traveling ridiculously fast. And you can't tell in the video, but when you get out there, you're actually like below sea level and the wave is vertical. It looks in the video like it's like a nice slopey like river ride. You could just carve it. But it's like a vertical wave. And the only way to do it really would be like with a 3.5 foot, maybe like a 4 foot board. Like that kid that randomly showed up there, he had like pretty much a wake skate. And he was cruising back and forth. And in retrospect, I should have jumped on his wake skate and tried it. But, dude, I was so bugged out about the whole situation. I like...
Why? You were like drown-proof. You're a waterman. Rivers?
By yourself?
Dude, you're fine.
Dude, and you didn't pick an area. First of all, nobody's like, dude, let's have a fun day in Missouri. Let's go to the fucking Missouri River and be eaten alive by mosquitoes, maybe stabbed by a vagabond. Who knows? The world's our oyster. But you didn't even go to one of the areas that's like thinner. You went to like one of the more medium girth areas to where like if you do get knocked in there, you're like, all right, I can swim 120 yards that way, or 115 yards that way. I'm gonna go that way. You're going miles down. Like when that guy came in your video too, because like as I began it, I'm like, this guy must be the first fucking person in the history of the Midwest to try surfing in one of like Mississippi or Missouri. Those are huge rivers. Yeah. And then when that other dude showed up, I was like, what? Is he in on this? Or is this just a hobby that these
I was like, I thought that was like the universe sending me a sign that I was going to go stand up and do it, but it didn't pan out. But yeah, I had no idea what I was doing. I've learned a lot about river surfing since then, but I'm still going to be terrified to go back there.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of fun though. You know, I don't surf. I don't even like the water very much, but that looked fun. I like being drugged behind boats in the lake and hanging on to something and just going for a wild ride.
That's
But
good.
so in comparison, that looked more fun than like ocean surfing to me. Especially when you mentioned that there are fish out there, because I always watch those videos of the Asian carp out in the rivers, and people like, you know, they do bow fishing, and some guys take a samurai sword out there and chop them, and I've seen people even take shotguns out and just shoot them out of the air. If I were you, I would combine something like that with this river surfing. Like, it'd be so fucking cool if you were surfing the river and you just samurai sworded a carp in half.
Yeah.
All Kyle's video ideas are like your video idea and add weapons to it.
I mean, that's not impossible.
Yeah.
Ben, how old are you?
All you gotta do is learn how to surf. Come join me, and we can make it happen.
Could you just drag me behind the boat and just hope for the best? Like, I don't need to stand up. I'll just kind of
Drown? Yeah.
How old are you, Ben?
I'm 29.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I started surfing probably a little before you were born, and I guarantee you the New Jersey shore was way dirtier than the Missouri River. Like, all the surfers would get sick at school at the same time. Our wetsuits would have like tar balls staining them and such. It was a nightmare.
Jesus Christ. Wait, I'm sorry. We got to stop right there.
It used to be that
I feel like
the plastic tampon applicator was the New Jersey seashell. You know, they're just up and down the beach.
Do people in New Jersey realize that they're not the Garden State? They're the tarball tampon state. Do they know it?
It got so much better. Like,
you're New York's landfill.
Dude,
we were. That's exactly that was the issue. We had New York's. They don't do that anymore. They don't just dump trash in the ocean.
Just
Really, that's a good point about the Garden State thing. It's like the way when like the Nordic got to Greenland, they're like, it's going to be really tough, honestly, to get people to come here. We'll call it Greenland. Like, and then by the time they're here, it's too late to go back. It's months' journey. Like, that's what they did back then. Like, you just mislabel it. So people out there are like, oh, Garden State. Yeah.
Wildwood would get shut down all the time in Wildwood, New Jersey. And I'd have friends who swam there with like lesions on their skin, like come to school. And they're like, oh, you know, they opened it like the day before, so I figured it was okay. Like, raise your standards, man.
We had a really gnarly situation this summer when they were doing the dredging. They dredged out all of Margate and like Longport and Ventnor, and they had
rebuilding beaches,
big sand dunes. Yeah, they're rebuilding the beaches, and then the backside behind the sand dune before you walk on filled up with water, and apparently all the birds were shitting in it, and it caused like all this bacteria and buildup and stuff, and people were getting like strep throat and ear infections and all sick. But
it reminds me of my childhood.
I think it's from the dredging. Like, everywhere that they dredged, the water got disgusting, and there was warning signs for bacteria and stuff. But
it could be that ugly stuff settled where they were dredging too.
Yeah,
or maybe that's what you're saying. That like that's what it was, the bird pooper.
Oh my God! See, this is like remember in Jackass when they sort of pole vaulted into that reservoir of water and there's like a dead cat floating in it, and then Steve-O got that horrible infection. This is your playground as a child. It sounds like.
It's not that. I don't.
He's like, it's nothing.
I tried.
I surfed next to a dead cat earlier. I'm really.
I try to not look at any of that, like bacteria reports and stuff, because like I've been in situations when I surfed in Louisiana. I surfed in a lake in New Orleans, and I got out of the water, and I was totally cool with it. I put my vlog out, and then a couple people hit me up, and they're like, "Yo, there's really bad bacteria in that water. Like, there's flesh-eating bacteria." And then I was like having a panic attack, like, am I going to get flesh-eating bacteria and stuff? So I feel like if I never learned about it, I never would have worried about it. And I ended up.
Yeah, that's an approach that works for some. You know?
Yes.
I don't look up STDs. Fuck condoms. Let's just take the
I
risk.
believe that's how the Native American Indians handled the white man.
Yeah, correlation does not imply causation. You know, just because I fucked these people without a condom and we all got syphilis, like, just, like
I believe the white men are a myth.
Or if that's the worst case scenario, though, then you're going to have trouble wanting to go into situations, especially high risk situations. You know.
That's fair if you're doing like a really ballsy kind of thing. What is the worst like infection or anything like that you, not like an injury where you fall and get hurt, because I'm sure there are plenty of those in what you do, but like something that wasn't injury related, like you got a staph infection or something horrible.
When I was in, I want to say maybe like right before I went to college, I was in California staying at my buddy's house in Los Angeles, and it rained, and we surfed like down in a spot near like El Porto, but it's like further down right next to the LA River. And they had these signs on the beach that were like biohazard signs, and we didn't read them. We went and surfed for 3 hours, got out, and I looked back at the sign, and it was like, contains fecal cauliflower from human whatever. So pretty much surfed in human shit for 3 hours. And I asked my friend Matt, and he was like, oh yeah, they have them all the time. Every time it rains, it's no worries. And I ended up getting strep throat and double ear infection. Probably the worst.
So like as you were walking by, you said you saw the biohazard sign out of the corner of your eye, and you went la 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 la. And as you walk towards the beach, and you go, oh, there's a lot of like soft logs in here today.
I ain't doing that again.
Oh, dude, what is a double ear infection like? Were you just deaf for a couple like weeks?
It was so bad, so much pain. Like you until you get a bad ear infection again, you always forget how bad they really are.
That's fair. I've only ever had it in one ear. Two would be horrible. How would you even sleep? Like you'd have to just put your head straight back. Oh, well, so did that deter you at all? Like from avoiding those signs? Or are you like, it won't hit me twice?
I would never go back. But I'm thinking maybe I do have a pretty good immune system from doing this a bunch of times, and I think it helps me as I go. You know, like.
Oh yeah.
I bet you're actually right.
Vaccines you've been like natural vaccines, you know, where you swim and poop. And
yeah, until you like like you're getting immunity to like bacteria until you step foot on the HIV sand bunker out there of needles, and then that deterrence is going to drop quickly. But
dude,
you know, when you get the HIV,
we see hypodermic needles in Atlantic City quite often. And that's like one of my worst fears, stepping on one of those things in the sand. And we did a trash cleanup right at the surf break where we surfed crystals out in front of the Revel Casino, and we found 6 needles just doing just that little stretch, 2-block stretch of boardwalk underneath it and on the beach. Pretty gnarly.
That's I was gonna say, man, that's so inconsiderate, just throwing your needles on the beach. But then I was like, who are the kind of people who bring needles to the beach? People who have a rubber surgical tube and tie it off. All
right,
with a stray dog licking their toes. Yeah.
Does everybody inject? Make sure you cap your needles. No one said that once ever. Ever has that happened? No.
Hey, they had a disposal thing at the CVS a block back. Then they pass out, and that's it.
It seems like heroin would be a bad thing to mix with surfing. I wouldn't think that would be a good drug to get up on and then ride the waves.
You had a video mentioning heroin. Do you have some sort of background in heroin?
No, dude.
It was a song. That's what it was.
I have a couple songs that like reference it because it's such a bad problem where I live. Tons of my childhood friends some have died and others are off and on it all the time, you know? And, I've actually never done any drugs really.
Okay.
But, it's serious where I live. Like Atlantic City is really, really bad with heroin.
I just don't know how you get started.